Yeah, there's an over emotional response right now to this result. Okay, Wolves are weakened. Yeah, we've been playing shit. We've been in bad form. We've had a few downs, but the reality is we've come away with 3 points, right? In a position where traditionally over the last few years, when it's come to this part of the season, when we've had a few bad results, we've continued to crumble. So rather than taking a positive and thinking, all right, let's see what happens next, right? Because at the end of the day, as we saw today, as they alluded to in regards to City went and played Chelsea and actually got outplayed for majority parts of that game. And if it wasn't for fortunate finishing, for bad finishing, they wouldn't have won that game. But they found a way to get the result. Today, we didn't play as we should have. Players look knackered. However, we've come away with 3 points and we're still in the title race, right? Where a lot of fans predicted we probably might not be. Our season collapsed at Bayern and it was going to continue over into Wolves. That was a lot of things I was hearing within the fan base. And something, even questions I started to ask with myself was, are we going to follow that up with another collapse? Is it going to be the same old Arsenal that we've seen 2 seasons in a row when things have kind of gone wrong, where injuries have kicked in and bad results have kicked in? Are they going to find a way to bounce back? We've got one response today. So I think in isolation, we just have to take it as despite all the negativity that's kind of gone on and the shit that's gone on in regards to the club and how bad we've been, we've actually stepped up today and shown a little bit of a mentality that we've lacked previously. Now, the question remains now is, can we continue that into Chelsea? Will it be the same, or will we see some of the old patterns creeping in that we've seen previously? And in regards to Brandon's comments about Saka never coming off and Trossard, the reality is we've all seen this season that right side, Arteta doesn't trust nobody on that right side bar Saka. Martinelli, Trossard, none of them play that right side. He's got no faith with any contributions coming in on that right side. As bad as Saka's been performance-wise at times, we've praised the fact that he's managed to pick up GNA, and unfortunately, that has resulted in him being run to the ground. I'm not happy with that. I would rather have players within the squad that we can call on. The reality is for one reason or another, Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah, who I'm sure we all think are not at the level, are the backup players. And until we get better, the manager like us, if they were to come in, doesn't trust them. Now, I know people are going to turn around and be like, well, he's decided to keep the squad. But we also have to factor in this. We've had to rebuild this squad from head to toe, right? So there's only so many transfers you can make in one window. I can hear people saying there's only so many gaps you can address. You can shake your head at you want, but we've only seen Chelsea address all gaps in one window. And how's that gone for them? How many players can you sign year in, year out, especially when you want quality? Because what happens, right, is I'll give you an example. Zinchenko. Everybody is talking about how now they want Zinchenko removed from the squad, right? We want to upgrade on him. If you make short-term signings, you're going to have to keep on upgrading within 1 or 2 seasons on those short-term signings. The same with Jesus. That's a player that's been widely regarded within the fan base as someone that, we might need to move on from. So the reality is we're talking about we want to spend and upgrade and bring in quality into this first team. However, we're also talking about, we could get rid of these backup players. But that's how can you address all those issues with real quality? It just doesn't add up, right?
See, this is where my problem lies, because there's always an excuse every time. Yeah, there's always an excuse. I hear what you're saying, Nathan, right? I get parts of it. But what I don't get is how you come out on this defence wagon for the manager again, right? Let's not forget we spent £65 million on Kai Havertz, who, okay, he's done okay. Yeah, he's done okay. But let's be real. We all expected him to start in midfield. We've had to play him up front to get anything out of him, right? So you're telling me that £65 million couldn't have been better spent elsewhere? And this is where the issue lies, my friend, right? Because we all know, and we've all been saying this for the past 2 years, not just 1, 2 years, yeah? We've all been saying Bukayo Saka needs adequate competition. We still haven't gone out and addressed that. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, the manager don't trust anybody else bar Saka. But let me tell you this, my friend. Bukayo Saka is so heavily relied on, and you can see that by the stats, by the GA, that everybody, raves about, and that we need him at this stage of the season. We need him for these last 5 games. The performances that I've seen for the past 3 weeks from Bukayo Saka tells me not just that he's not, he's had a dip in form, but he is leggy as oat. He is so tired, this guy, because he's been flogged to death, that I'm telling you now, Yeah, we're not going to see the same level of Bukayo Saka that we are used to. The top level of Bukayo Saka for the remainder of this season because he ain't going to get a rest. Today was a prime opportunity for him to keep Trossard on the pitch because he scored. Yeah, bring
But the
Martinelli
score,
on
nil,
and
but
take
the score
Saka
nil was,
off.
but the score nil was still 1-0, right? So it was still a precarious scoreline, right? And when we're talking about Havertz, for instance, which I agree with, I'm not sitting here talking about the money's been perfectly spent. That's not the argument here being said. However, we're looking at, even if we did sign, say, a right winger for Saka, we'd still be talking. Oh, we haven't got nobody who can play up front. We've only got Jesus and Ketia. There'd still be gaps in the squad. The argument of what I'm saying remains the same, right? I'm not talking about the allocation of funds or misallocation of funds in this instance, because you can say, yeah, Havertz is perhaps misallocation, and I couldn't argue with that. But I'm just saying to you, regardless, right? We spent 590 million pounds, right? How many quality, and I'm talking about quality players, can you spend with that and addressing all the gaps in the squad? It takes a serious amount of time. It's the reason why, even though I don't want them players at the club, in the likes of Eddie, Reese, I could understand why they were signed on until you can get better, because there's no point in signing a short-term player for now and then in a season's time trying to replace him. And then we've got the likes of Cedric and all these players that have held on to contracts.
The thing is, it's not just £590 million. Not when you factor in wages as well. Kai Havertz is our top earner. Our top earner.
Why are you so mad about Kai Havertz?
Like, has
he been terrible this season? Has he been terrible this season?
No, I'm not even saying that, Dave.
No. So here's the question. Here's the question, though. He hasn't been terrible this season. Nobody was happy with his signing from Arteta. Of course, I didn't like Kai Havertz signing, but he's proved me different. The same way Granit Xhaka proved me different. I was wondering why Arteta wanted to keep him one more season. I was like, I don't want this guy in my club. I want him out. But he balled out in his last season. The same way. No, hold on. So here's my thing. See, the same way with the Ramsdale and Raya thing. I was upset about it. I didn't like the idea. But he's proved me wrong. He's got it right sometimes. He's got it wrong sometimes. The bottom line is a winning team, or a team that wants to be winners. Let me rephrase that. A team that wants to be winners has to find a way to play whoever is put in front of them, however they need to win, and get it over the line. Sometimes performances, I would rather an ugly win than a beautiful game of football and you lose, like we did against Liverpool in the FA Cup. I would rather an ugly win. And if you want to address, just like what Nathan said, addressing the issues, a lot of the players who are like Eddie and Ketia came through the academy. Bukayo Saka came through the academy. These are players that it's either we get full profit on them if we sell them, which, of course, at that time, how much were they worth? Let's talk about it. How much were they worth?
Yeah.
At that time. Like, if you sold them, you weren't making any money off them.
Yeah, guys, I want to kind of end this segment because there's obviously a few people I want to speak to. There's a lot of super chats to get through as well. I think there's a really good debate. I think if we keep going, it will just continue to go around in that same circle. I think people have had their say on it. Yeah. Sard, I don't know, a lot of the game has been spoken about, but do you think Arsenal will turn up in the next game against Chelsea? Do you think you'll deliver and win that game?
Listen, we're at home. I think the home record against Chelsea definitely favors us. And I think, yes, this performance was kind of lethargic in the midfield and the attack. But to be honest, if the players are holding back and they're trying to reserve that energy for that game, because at this point in the season, you have to find the balance in between playing well enough to win the game, but also to reserve some energy for the next game, because we're playing every 3 days, every 4 days. So you have to find that perfect balance between reserving the energy and playing well enough to win the game. I think today they definitely played. Today I think they definitely played to win the game, but obviously it was a bit lethargic. I think you guys are expecting a bit more of a better performance. You're expecting them to go out there and knock these chances off. I think, listen, coming out from that result against Bayern Munich, oftentimes your league form doesn't translate into the Champions League, but your Champions League form definitely translates back into the league 100%. We've seen that from many years that we were in the Champions League, where we'd lose a game and we go on a little losing streak of 2 or 3 or 4 games. But listen, they've come back. Wolves is a very difficult place to go. I know they haven't got their full team, but it's still a difficult place to go. I think Gary O'Neill was a very good manager who sets up his team very well defensively and going forward. They're very good at getting out the press. And listen, we managed to get the win over them, even though they look tired as hell out there. about City, about Chelsea. I think going into that game, I definitely need to see Partey starting that game. I think we need him to bolster that midfield and really give them some energy. And I've been asking for this guy to start. I would have started him today, to be honest, against Wolves, but obviously we went with Havertz in the midfield. I think Havertz is perfect in that false nine position. I think he's just what you need in that false nine position. Don't put him in the midfield for me, because it just doesn't have the same energy in the midfield. But I think we can get the win against Chelsea. I listen. We're going out there. We're a team that's trying to get back into form. I think this will give the players the boost that they needed, because after Bayern Munich, their heads were down, and obviously they've just been kicked out of the Champions League. Obviously, not the best feeling for them, and they definitely could have won that game against Bayern Munich, but they managed to put their head up and say, you know what, now we're not going down like that. We're keeping going forward, and we're gonna win this game. And they definitely won the game. And listen, everybody who's saying Partey's not fit, Partey's fit. I see this guy in training. He's fit. I see him in games when he comes on. He's fit. Yes, he might make an odd pass, but nobody's perfect, man. Nobody's perfect. Everybody makes wrong passes. And also, sorry, just to say, that Erdegaard goal was outstanding. The fact that he done it from that angle is actually nuts. Like, I've actually gone back and looked at the angle of that goal. It's actually crazy, bro. I think he's like right in line with the goal and he goes into the net, bro. I don't know how the hell Erdegaard did that, but listen, my skipper, man. What a guy, man. Honestly, to get that goal, man.
Can I add on to that as well? Like, I know people say that the Arsenal players and stuff are tired. Bro, the fans right now, we all look tired as well. Like, we need to liven up. There's 5 games left in the season. Bro, we're 1 point top of the table right now. People saying the fans look deflated. Look, people will say don't criticize the team when you lose. I'm not saying that at all. I think you're fair to say whatever you want, win or lose. But then eventually to the point where you're just bashing the team. Like, it's a big win. Not every win is going to be comfortable. I appreciate that we probably should have scored more goals today. But I actually thought I didn't think it was a bad performance whatsoever. We barely let anything at our goal, apart from Kivior making a silly mistake. Ryan made maybe one save all game. And we had chance after chance. We probably should have done more. P rolled a lot of them. But I don't think it was a bad game whatsoever. I thought we were quite decent. And everyone seems deflated. Like, it's not the players are looking leggy. We're looking leggy. We ain't even played any minutes.
It's not even I wouldn't even say we're leggy. I'd say it's not even the fact we're leggy. I'd say people, like, I feel like I have the same. I don't know about any other guys, but I think, like, I'm kind of comparing what Brandon and TJ said. I like to say we're cautious. We have seen this many years, that we're on a high. Every Arsenal fan's on a high. Before you know it, like, I saw comments. There was a super chat earlier. Like, and it was spot on. Today we're winning the league. It's a great feeling. Then bang on Wednesday, it's dropping. Bang, we're out of it again. If we lose to Chelsea, So I like to say, as myself, can't speak for any other guys. I'm cautious. That's why maybe I look laggy. I don't know about the other guys. I'm more cautious because I know what this club can do to a fan. I know what they can do. They can have you on a high. You're buzzing. You're feeling great, and then they can have you bottom of the pile before you know it. So I'm cautious. And I was going to say earlier with what Brandon said, and I can agree with. I don't think we're picking out negatives here. We're not trying to pick out negatives for the sake of it. We're looking at a sense of what's happening right now. I don't care what we've done against, Burnley or all these teams that we absolutely smashed, and we've played great football earlier on in the season to get us in this point now. We're looking at how the team looks now in this game. This team isn't going to copy and paste how they looked in September and when it's a new season. How are they looking now? Going against a Chelsea team who, listen, they got the 1-0 loss. They went toe-to-toe with City. I thought they'd done an all right job. Just couldn't get a goal. 6-0 against Everton. They're on a decent run of form. And listen, they're not great. Chelsea aren't great this season. They're not. We should be beating them. But I think taking points out of you can't just not look at it. If you can't take constructive criticism, I don't get how you get on in life. You can't go on in life looking for positives left, right, and centre. You have to take a form of constructive criticism because we weren't perfect today. We weren't. It's as simple as that. No, it's very rare when you can pick out a performance where a team is spot on, 100% perfect. Very, very rare.
Well, I'll see you ever perfect. I'll see you ever perfect in the latter end of the season. They're always getting. They're always getting in there. No, but hold on. All I want to say is, all I want to say, Tal, is City always getting a 1-0 here, a 1-0 there. They don't look to their full pomp and playing how they do, like silky football, passing left, passing right, and
Actually,
getting
can I
goals.
hold on,
answer this?
They don't.
Yeah, guys, it's a good point, guys. I want to.